And you're back in my kitchen again, and I'm so glad that you're here. So today, or tonight, because I did something else today, we're going to do atole. And if you're not sure what that is, it's a Latin American corn cinnamon drink that's warm. And to a lot of Americans that seems strange, but corn is actually quite sweet. That's how we get corn syrup, right? So it actually makes this really beautiful drink mixed with the cinnamon, and it's super creamy. And I'm going to tell you how we made it, then we're going to puree it and take a little taste. So I see a lot of people have come in, and welcome everyone. I am not seeing comments, but let me try this because that made them come in before. So hopefully that will be working. Okay, so a lot more people are here. So hello, I'm Kathy Hester. Welcome to my kitchen. Tonight we're going to make a warm corn cinnamon drink called Atole, which is pretty cool. And also the ingredients are so super simple. So we're going to use, I'm using frozen corn, and you could use fresh corn too. Hi Jackie, good evening to you. We're going to use about 3 cups of water. We have about 2 cups of corn kernels. I'm using a 1/4 cup of cashews. If you're allergic to nuts, you could add extra corn or you could use oats instead. And let me turn that down a little bit. Hi, William and D-Town48. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. And hi, Barbara, is watching from Columbus, Ohio. It's so nice to see you guys. So I'm gonna add some brown sugar, but you could add any kind of yummy sugar. So, and Cheryl did this phonetically, Cheryl Bennett for me, but I think it was pickled. There's a brown sugar that is Latin American, and it comes in a little cone, and that could also be used as well, or instead of, or coconut sugar, or you could use white sugar. You could also put dates in this and let the dates cook. So it's flavored with these cinnamon sticks. And if you've been watching all week, we've talked about the difference between these two, but let me show you again. Oh, and hello, Julie from Wheeling, West Virginia. Welcome. I wonder how cold it is there. It feels a little chilly here. So these cinnamon sticks are really, really hard. Like I'm pressing, there we go. It took that much for me to break it in half. This kind of cinnamon, you'll also notice, is thinner sliced, and it will crumble very easily. So it's not that one is better than the other. However, with this drink in particular, I would like to just take these 3 cinnamon sticks out whole and not strain it at all, because I'm going to end up straining corn out. So I'd rather use the harder cinnamon. Something that I would use the crumbly cinnamon for is to make my Instant Pot chai concentrate that you can find on plantbasedinstantpot.com. At the top and to the side at the right, there are little magnifying glasses on both my websites, Healthy Slow Cooking as well. And you can go there and type in an ingredient or what you're looking for, and it will pop up. So if you put in chai, you'll find it. Plant-Based Instant Pot has Instant Pot chai. I believe there's a slow cooker chai on Healthy Slow Cooking. Healthy Slow Cooking, just to confuse matters, also has Instant Pot recipes, air fryer recipes, stove recipes, all the recipes, because I started it 12 years ago. So yeah, I apologize, but we're kind of stuck with it right now. Let's see. Oh, and Julie says it's 35 degrees, but no snow. Like, I'm just excited we can turn on our fireplace at night. Oh, good. Jackie say Piancio. Piancio is the name of the brownish sugar that's in the little cone that you can get at the Latin American or Hispanic market. And I love going to the Hispanic market. So tell me if you guys end up going. It's amazing as far as like getting different dried chilies at just like bargain basement prices. Lots of beans. You can get avocados, tomatillos, jalapenos. You can get Mayacoba beans, which are some of my favorite for refried beans, really inexpensively. So if you do have a Hispanic market or an Indian market. Those are two of my favorite local vacation spots, and I get tons of really great spices and herbs at both of those as well. Hi, Diane from Northern California. Welcome. Oh, good. And D-Town also told me how to phonetically spell it. You guys are like on Team Kathy. And let me tell you, I appreciate it. It's been a very long week. And this is the last day of Holiday Drink Week, which I've been doing lives all week long. So if you're just catching me today, don't forget I've got gingerbread infused maple syrup. I've got a cinnamon dolce syrup we made in the slow cooker. We made hot chocolate in the slow cooker. We made cold foam, cold brew lattes. And we made white hot chocolate last night, vegan white hot chocolate using cocoa butter. And earlier today, I made a peppermint mocha frappuccino that you can make, even if you don't like coffee, you can make those into cream frappuccinos or what I like to call ice creamless milkshakes. So I promised you Atole, so here we are. This is why I'm going live twice today. So I kind of cooked some of this stuff ahead of time because it's a little bit cold, and sometimes that can change the coming up to pressure time by 10 minutes. And I really didn't want you to have to sit and listen to me talk for 45 minutes while we waited for it to do. So we're not going to have like some fun, exciting pressure release, but literally I poured this, this, and 3 cinnamon sticks in here. And so I'm going to let you see, we'll unveil it anyhow. So the pressure has already come down, so there's not a lot exciting to happen. So, hi, Miss Christine. It's so awesome. Christy's here. And Helen from Raleigh, North Carolina, welcome. I am in Durham, North Carolina, if you didn't know that already. So the pressure came down naturally from this. And this is the Duo Crisp air fryer model. Oh, and I didn't turn on my fan again. You guys, I'm just full of mess, aren't I? There we go. We'll wave it around. And so you can kind of see that basically, like I told you, there's corn that got cooked with cinnamon sticks and cashews and water. So I'm going to get my tongs so I can safely take out these cinnamon sticks. And some of them, like this one, they're going to unfurl. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it also doesn't make a great drink decoration, so I won't be saving these. Actually, I'm going to take these guys out of here and put the wet guys here instead. And I'm going to try and shake out the water and any corn kernels that I can get out of there. And what this did by cooking it is we're infusing the cinnamon into here. So if I smell it, I can smell that amazing cinnamon. You can also smell the sweetness of the corn. And I'm going to put in, usually what I do, and actually let me get a different spoon for this, or something to scoop it out with, is you could cook it with sugar to begin with. But here's the deal. So if you make this early autumn, when it's the last ears of corn and they're pretty sweet, you're going to use a lot less sweetener than you are when you're using frozen corn like I am today. So just know that. So I kind of like to just kind of judge it. So I'm going to put, I don't know if I can do the math in my head, but I put about 3/4 of half a cup. I don't think I can do that this late in the evening. So I'm just going to melt that in there. And this also adds to the amazing flavor. We can still add the rest of this if we need to. So all you missed was me throwing those items in here, then cooking it on high pressure for 15 minutes. then typically, if it's a liquid, more liquidy like this, I let it sit for about 10 minutes before I release the pressure, just so there's not as much water going around. So you could use an immersion blender. It's not happy the pot was gone. So I'm going to use my blender because I want this to be like really creamy, like not pretend creamy. And I see where some of the sugar is still in the bottom, so I'm going to scrape that out. And like I said, this is still warm, so we could add the sugar. We could have added the sugar directly to the blender. But sometimes you don't always do that the first time, if you're me. So let me set this over here. Okay, then we're just going to do what I do best. Blend, right? We've been doing a lot of blending this week. Now, when you're blending hot liquids in a blender, you want to try not to go much past halfway if you can. You want to hold it, and it could come out, so you want to do it a little more carefully than if it was a cold liquid. I did not soak the cashews ahead of time because I cooked them, which is the equivalent of soaking them. Okay, now let's take a look at this and see what it looks like. I'm going to see if I can get away with not putting the fan on. Okay. So see, it's nice and frothy. Let me get a spoon so I can get below the froth. And I'm going to taste it. I'm probably going to blend it a little bit longer and scrape it down. Oh my God. You guys, I probably could have used, so I'm probably using about 1/4 cup to 1/3 of a cup in general of brown sugar to this. This tastes amazing. If you wanted it creamier, you could add more cashews. You could also make this with already made milk, because I know Helene is going to ask me. So you, instead of using water, you could use almond milk, soy milk, or anything like that, and add these in and cook them if you wanted to. So why make it in the Instant Pot? One of the reasons is if you could make this just in your Vitamix, really. If you had soaked cashews and blend the corn together, I think having the corn cooked a little bit is nice, and it makes the flavor a little more delicate. But in a Vitamix or a Blend-Tac, you can actually blend it long enough to make it hot. I personally can't take the noise that long. It takes several minutes. So if you can, great. I would rather have it warmed up in something and then blend it to being extra smooth. Like I said, you could use an immersion blender inside of the Instant Pot so that you did not have to have this extra cleanup, but it's not, I never am able to get it as smooth. Do you guys have any questions about any of this? I'm going to scrape this down. I'm going to blend it for a minute more, probably not a whole minute, but I just want to get a little bit more of the pulp of the corn smooth. And if you wanted to be super impressive, you could also still strain out any of the corn skins that might be in there. But for me, that's overkill because they puree up pretty well. So I see we have some more new people. So what we're doing is we're making a drink called Atole, which is a corn cinnamon warm drink that is amazing. And so we started out with 3 cups of water, 1/4 cup of cashews, 2 cups of corn kernels, and I used frozen, and I used white corn instead of yellow, so the color is a little different than the picture I originally showed you. And I used about 3 cinnamon sticks because they were fairly small. I cooked it on high for 15 minutes in my Instant Pot, let the pressure naturally, ooh, I can't say that tonight, I did the natural pressure release for 10 minutes. And then normally I would manually release the pressure. Honestly, I just kept letting it naturally release. I don't know exactly what country it's from, but let's see. Let's ask Google. Google knows. Let's see. Goya Foods says it's from Mexico. I just knew it was a Latin American drink, and I actually made some for my friend Sandra Gutierrez that you've heard me talk about before. She's a Latin food expert, and she has like a whole thing at the Smithsonian. So she's super cool and super knowledgeable. So I always bring her my versions of things and ask her if they're okay. And she has tasted this and she liked it. She also liked my very not traditional margarita hot sauce. And it makes me so giddy when she likes my stuff, and she's so nice. I made arepas for lunch today, and I was thinking about her because I've made arepas with her. And I'm thinking about maybe trying to get her to come on to a show. And I'm thinking about that because I thought that would be fun in Vegan Recipes Cooking with Kathy Hester, the Facebook group. I'm thinking of maybe going in there and doing some interviews, or maybe like this, if the restream keeps working well, we could do lives like this and I could have some guests on. So yeah, it's from Mexico. And so let's see how, I think you'll see it better here. You can kind of hear it probably too. And you could, again, you could also sweeten this with dates. So you could put the dates in, you wouldn't have to soak them ahead of time, or the cashews, because we're cooking them and that acts as the same thing. And D-Town says, my grandmother used to make Atole, but she made it with oats. Oats are my favorites. So I have not made this with oats, but I think I would like to. And you can kind of see here, let's see if you see it better overhead. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So if I put my hand there, those are the things, if you wanted to, we could put it through a strainer and get those out. And that's really up to you. I'm thinking for right now, I'm feeling pretty good about it. So I'm going to taste it. And if you didn't know it had corn in it, that wouldn't be the first thing that comes to mind. It just tastes sweet and creamy and very heavy on the cinnamon. And it's really, really good. But you could use different kinds of sweeteners. You could use different bases. So you could use already made milk, and oats seems like a good thing. And someone said guest sounds like fun. I know, I'm lucky enough to know some really amazing cookbook authors who aren't necessarily vegan, but they're super vegan friendly. They're my friends, so obviously they're vegan friendly. And so Sandra has made whole Latin American feasts for me and Jill Newsom now at her house. And my friend Nancy McDermott has a vegetarian Thai cookbook, and she lived in Thailand for a long time. And she contributed some Thai recipes to my last couple of books. And I thought it would be really fun to have them talk about their recipes and give you some more insight to those cuisines. Okay, so it's really easy enough, and actually, if you wanted to, all you would do is just put a fine mesh strainer. I would not use a nut milk bag because this is hot, and pressing that hot liquid out of yourself, you're going to get burned. And I don't know if you can see, I have a bunch of Band-Aids on that I didn't have on earlier today because I washed a really giant serrated knife that won. So in case you didn't think middle-aged ladies get into knife fights, you're wrong. but it may not be as exciting as it sounds. But don't squeeze hot milk out of a nut milk bag. That is just a bad idea. But on the other hand, you could go the opposite way. You could have soaked your cashews and you could have blended everything together, go through the nut milk bag, then heat it up on the stove or in your Instant Pot. Melissa says, oh no. And I'm like, if only this was an unusual occurrence. And like 9 out of 10 times when I cut myself, it's washing the knives. And at my age, I'm not sure that that's going to get any better. And Jackie said, if you used already made milk, would you still use the water and cashews in the Instant Pot? No. I would then just put the milk, the corn, the cinnamon into the Instant Pot. And it wouldn't really matter if your milk was sweetened already or not. Again, I put my sweetener in at the end when I can tell how sweet the corn was. So that's one of the reasons I do it that way. But the purpose of cooking it is mostly to infuse that liquid with the cinnamon. And it is infused. It's such an interesting thing because my friend Jenny Field has the corny corn party because there's a corny corn maze in the fall right by her house. So for years I've gone over there and I made corn nacho cheese and whatever, and that is actually one of the first times that I made this. Then after that I made it for Sandra because I wanted to know if I was close to what was really going on. And someone says great cooks love challenges. And maybe, but I do consider myself a mad scientist in the kitchen, so I do like to figure things out. And one of the things that's super important to me is inclusivity, right? That's kind of the basis of everything for me. And that's why if this little bit of corn, like that isn't blended all the way, is going to bother you, you can filter it out. But if it doesn't, don't do the extra work. If you can't have a refined sugar like a brown sugar, you can use dates. We could put maple syrup in this. We could do whatever we want. It doesn't necessarily, everything doesn't have to be done the traditional way. That doesn't mean the traditional way isn't amazing. But you can take these traditional flavors that you liked before you had to change your diet, and you can still bring them back in. I mean, it's the same thing as me making seitan riblets or jackfruit barbecue. It's not that I'm going, I'm really missing pig, because I'm not. But I miss barbecue sauce. Or I miss, that wonderful feeling of something barbecuey and spicy with coleslaw on a bun. So sometimes it's just that simple. It's getting these memories still where it fits into exactly what you want it to fit dietary needs-wise. Okay, let's see what we got. Melissa's saying, if you didn't cook the cinnamon, how would you get that flavor? Ground cinnamon. You could use ground cinnamon, but it is going to be grittier. So that's kind of been my moral of the story this week is, with drinks especially, I do prefer to use some cinnamon sticks. However, if you're where you are now and you only have ground cinnamon, you could do that for sure. And if you had ground cinnamon, you could still try and cook it and see if it infuses a little bit more. If not, you're only going to get those little bits as they come in. If you can, I'm trying to think, well, that, do what you got to do. Some corn, some regular cinnamon, just like ground cinnamon, you could do that. Probably I would put it all together. I would let it simmer on the stove if you're doing it that way for 10 to 15 minutes. Then I would go ahead, blend and strain. That's probably what I would do, just so you won't get like gritty cinnamon in your mouth. And if it doesn't bother you, who am I to tell you what to do? Is how I have to say. And William says it's good for, I believe, quarantine. Yeah, it's nice way, like we're staying in a little more. You know, there's still stuff going on, and 2020 is still raging and doing its thing. And so that's why I thought we'd start December off with this kind of holiday drinks, because it's like something warm, it's a treat. You can decide your level of treat, you know, by picking the sweeteners, but it's something that can warm you up in the winter, that can put you in the mood for whatever holiday it is that you're celebrating this month, even if you're just celebrating that 2020 is almost over. Any of it. But just to give yourself a little bit of boost. I know with the time change and everything getting darker, it's a little easier to kind of be blah. And this is kind of a nice way to kind of perk yourself up. So I was saying, how many dates would I use? And okay, again, it's going to depend on how sweet your dates are and how sweet you want your drink. But I probably would start with 4 to 5. And kind of figure your way out from there. If you like things a lot, you know, really sweet, maybe go ahead and start with 6 or 7. So that's going to be one thing that you make a batch, and then you kind of go on and see what you want to do next time. I'm trying to see, this recipe is actually in the gluten-free vegan cookbook for your Instant Pot that came out earlier this year. Nope, I didn't say date. Or did I? Let me look at the bottom. No, I talk about making it nut-free. So I didn't test it with dates. And I have, some of my dates aren't very sweet at all. And then other dates are super, super sweet. Obviously, remove the pits if they have pits before you put them in the blender. And Aunt B says, hi, Kathy, I would like to try this. I really like horchata. Do you think that we can make it the same way? You probably could make it the same way. It's just you're going to want to make this warm. And I do actually, on Healthy Slow Cooking, I have a warm horchata drink. So I actually do warm horchata. And a horchata is usually like an almond rice milk that's infused with cinnamon. And this is really kind of similar. And you could probably make it with rice and almonds if you wanted to, and just add in the corn. Since this is traditionally drank hot, you're going to want to, so like horchata, I put the almonds in the rice, I let them sit overnight, then I blend everything together. Well, I have the cinnamon stick in there, I take the cinnamon stick out, and then I blend everything together. And over that time, you get that cinnamon flavor. I think it's a little more intense when you use heat, but you could do that. So you could have the corn. I would not leave the corn out all night. I would add the corn right before you're going to blend it. So maybe have it thawing in the fridge if it's frozen already, and then just blend it all together. Then strain it, because if you're using the rice and the almonds, you'll need to strain that. And then heat it. Or you can put it in the fridge until you're ready to heat it up. So that would totally work. Okay, great. All right, guys, does anybody have any other questions? And for anyone who's just coming in or can't remember all the things I said, what we did to make our Atole, our creamy cinnamon corn hot drink, is we used 3 cups of water, a 1/4 cup of cashews, 2 cups of corn kernels, and I used 3 cinnamon sticks because they were small. We put all of that into an Instant Pot for 15 minutes on high. We let the pressure release naturally for 10 minutes and manually release the pressure the rest of the way. Add anywhere between a 1/4 to a 1/3 cup of brown sugar, if we're going by my recipe, or you could have added some dates in when you were cooking, like before you cooked with the corn. And then we remove the cinnamon stick, and then we blend everything together. And it's warm, yummy drink. Okay, guys, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. I hope you're having a good day, and you're just ready to like take on the week. And if not, just kind of sit in front of the fire. If you're somewhere warm, sit out on the porch and just kind of chill out for a few minutes, relax, and get ready for the week. And I'll see you next week, every day too. I think I'm going to do air frying week next week. So if there's something you want to know about air fryers, be sure to let me know in one of the comments, or don't forget, join me in my private Facebook group, Vegan Recipes Cooking with Kathy Hester, and just say you saw the corn drink video and you can get in. Also, next Saturday, I have an air fryer class. So I'm going to have an air fryer class, and then the week after that, I'm having a vegan appetizer class. And you can find out about those classes and more at kathyhester.podia, podia.com. And if you go onto the Facebook pages, or actually I think I have it on here, so depending on what platform you're looking at, it's somewhere. I actually have some codes so you can take the bundle, which is both classes, at a lower price. So if you're having a financial hardship, because 2020 has been hard on a lot of us, you've got codes so you could take it, both classes, as low as $10. So pay what you can. If you can pay more, it helps me. If you can't pay very much, I would rather see you in class. And if you're on a serious financial difficulty and you can't afford anything, I have a few scholarship spaces available. And if you're interested in one of those, you can email me at kathyhester@gmail.com. And I see a couple other questions. Okay, great. All right, see you guys tomorrow.